To start at 9:10, but we're starting early, and I think hello, everybody. Welcome to a special edition of the Sunday Club. I want to thank you for joining us at this very for this very important discussion. I, of course, want to start by apologizing. We live in unprecedented times, and things come up at the last minute, unfortunately, and that led to this delay in starting our program. But I'm very happy to see that so many of you have joined us and want to listen to these very special voices with us today. I'm going to introduce them one by one. Of course, there's Qurban Haidari. He is a student from Afghanistan who is presently at JNU, one of our premier institutes, and is studying there. He's been in India for the last 3 years. And of course, there's Adeeba Qayoumi. She's joining us as well from the National Capital Region. And she's been here for about a year, from what I understand. And finally, there is Abdurrazak Habibi, who's an Afghan journalist, and he is with us from Kabul. And thank you so much, Mr. Habibi. Just to start with you, what are the present circumstances in Kabul?
Thank you, Mrs. Kala. As you may follow the news, that we see two things. One is news, one there is rumors, and one is the reality, ground reality here in Kabul. So I think here is the two different things. One, the rumor is, and all media focuses on Kabul airport. As you may say, that what condition is going there. But as we see, that there is I don't think there be maybe more than 2 or 3,000 people, but we see that the whole nation is left, and no one is talking about them and about their future. But all of the people are thinking about the people who have the US or the European citizenship passports or invitations that they may go to Europe or USA. So I think the world in the media must focus more on the whole nation, the Afghans, the living country, about their economic situation and condition that they are faced now, because all of the offices are uh, closed and no one is going to office, and their income is stopped up to now. The banks are closed. So I think the most important reason for this is the international community, that they have closed their relationship with the banks, with accounts, and suspended their donations. So I think the international relation, the international community must resume their relationships or their funds, their donations to the nation, and must not suspend the accounts, the banks, and that all of us previously this was the relationship. It must be resumed, that because the most affected part of the of Afghanistan is the nation. So I think that international community must work for the whole nation, for the rescue of the whole nation, because I don't think that the nation maybe the 2 or 3,000 people that are there gathered in near the Kabul airport.
And I would like to also welcome Ms. Seraj, who's joined us. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us as well this evening. I apologize for the delay. Thank you. Yes, Mr. Habibi, what is the present circumstances? You said it's quite normal in Kabul right now. There isn't any sort of tension at the present time. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes, as any other Afghan, Mrs. Seraj may see, the situation is normal, and I don't see the people were mostly they were thinking that Kabul may see the war here, and maybe the a big problems here. But as we see that the normal life is resuming day by day, but most of the people are They think what about the uncertain condition which is here about the future. So they may be a little uh, uh, I don't know what they are thinking about the future, and they are sad about the future, about their income, about their economics, and about their relatives. But the current situation is going normal, but they are only thinking about the future.
Hmm. Thank you for sharing that. And Ms. Seraj, I'd like to welcome you on the show and request you to please give us your opening comments.
Thank you. I know Mr. Habibi. Good evening. He thinks that the situation is normal in Kabul. The situation is not normal in Kabul at all, because I don't know what you call a normal situation. A normal situation is not a country that has a huge void like the way right now is in Afghanistan. We don't have a government. We don't have banks. We are running out of money. The offices are not open. If they're open, there is nobody to work it. So normal. This is called normal. No, I don't know.
No, I
But
told that this is a normal life, that there is no war. But I mentioned that the offices in the government offices and other private offices are closed. That I mentioned that. Beside that, I was, as I said, that there is no war, and as it was predicated.
and no offices are actually functioning. That's exactly what it is. You go to the
Yes.
passport office, there is nobody to run the passport office. You want to go to the other place to do your to get ready for the getting a passport. There is nobody to do that work. You want to go to you can't buy a ticket. You can't and nothing. Just like nobody knows how to run this country anymore. The people who are supposed to be running it are out. There's nobody there. So there's nobody in the offices. The people can't do the work because these are technical works. Now they said that they're going to open the banks. Now that I'm also wondering, there's going to be tellers. Do they know how to run the banks? Do they know how to do everything? Because that's also technical. So all of these things are all concerns, because the country is not doing anything right now. We don't know who is governing it. We don't have a president or whoever or anybody that we can say, okay, he's in charge. And whoever is actually running the country are not the top echelon of Talibs. They are, I don't know what level of Talibs they are. I mean, they are the foot soldiers, and then they are the foot soldiers, and they are the foot soldiers, and then there are levels of Taliban. I don't know who they are. Which ones are they? Are they actually the big guys, or aren't they? Are they the decision makers, or aren't they? So these are all the voids, all of the problems that exist in Afghanistan right now. And then, of course, the airport is completely is not working, not working. If you don't have an airport with the commercial flights to come in, they can't come in. So, there was a flight from India that apparently came and took 100 and something of the Indian nationals, and the rumors were that whole thing was disappeared, and we were so
Yes.
worried about our Indian friends because we didn't know what happened to them. Miss Anarkali was disappeared. I was dying inside. I did not know what happened to Anarkali, and today she's in India. Thank God she is. But it's done like this. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
This
Yes.
is normal. You don't call this normal. And then there is this whole circus being made. There's a circus here. The world is watching it, taking pictures, giving news, but it's a circus. It's a circus. And we are all the monkeys and everything, whatever, jumping around. The world is taking pictures, making movies. Beautiful. What about us? What are we going to do? I don't get it. What is so bloody normal about this? I'm sorry, Mr. Habibi, but I'm really sorry. What is normal? I don't have the word normal in my life anymore. Do you?
Yes, I
You
said
call
as previously
how many
that this was the normal life the people are there. As it was predicted that civil war may be happen, and I mentioned it that all offices are closed now. So I didn't say that as is normal as it was previous, but as it was predicated so before that, as we said that condition it's normal than that. So
Well,
as I
you,
told.
you mean, if you mean to tell me that they're not shooting people on the streets, yes, you're right. They're not shooting people on the streets. If you want to tell me that there is no public executions on the street, yes, there are no public executions on the street. Not yet. But if you want to tell me that everything else is normal, what normal? What normal? You call this normal? We're going to run out of food, Mr. Habibi, very soon. We're going to run out of
But
everything.
Right. We have two young Afghans joining us. Both of them are in the NCR region, and we were discussing this prior to the start of the show. That neither of them, they're both in their 20s, have really experienced the Taliban. Uh, as those of us old enough to remember, even someone like me who's on the outside, and the kind of brutality they're capable of. And Qurban, just to bring you into this conversation, you said we were talking about the fact that there were no flights, and Ms. Miraj has referred to that, the airport as well.
Yeah,
And it's impossible really to even go back, and your visa has expired. And you're actually in a very difficult situation, not to mention that your family, you're barely in touch with them.
yeah. Okay. Actually, weeks ago, I raised a petition through the change.org. That was to raise the petition that my aim was that I cannot go back to the Afghanistan because the situation is worse. And currently in Afghanistan, I don't have visa. I don't have the ICCR is not going to support anymore. So even there is no flight to go back to the country. So even so it so that petition signed around 2,000 people signed that. It means a huge number of Indians were supporting me to extend my visa through the FRRO, and I asked from the ICCR to open the port to support us to go for further studies. So now I applied 3 times, but to the FRO to extend my visa, but my application is closed because the university is not providing me bona fide letter. So tomorrow I have a decision to go to the FRO and face to face. Let's see what will happen. And situation back to my home is not good. Everyone is not able to go outside because Taliban is roaming around and carrying their guns or whatever. But there is no job also. The thing is that after some time, maybe after a month, maybe after 2 weeks, maybe they are running after the food, basic needs. So everything is not normal. Normal is something that everything is open, that you are for example, everyone was working, functioning. So there is no resources of income. So it means the situation is abnormal. It means we
Right.
cannot even. Maybe you are saying that viral video is not. At least think about that airplane that the pupil was uh, she's holding themselves to the airplane and wanted to go flee to the other country because they don't want to be under ruling by the by Taliban, by Emirates. So they didn't want anymore. Even I don't want because I cannot bear all this. Or someone is ruling. For example, I should not. Some certain rule is coming out that you should leave your beard or you should not listen to music or there's so many things that I don't want.
Qurban, you're mentioning ICCR. This is the Indian Council for Cultural Relations. Is that what you're
Yes,
mentioning?
yeah.
Okay.
Actually, they are providing scholarship for the Afghans in
Oh, okay, okay. Okay, so I am a member. I'm on a committee there. So please connect with me post this, and we'll talk about this a little more.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. And Abida, please go ahead and tell us the reason why you are in India. You came here in 2020, if I'm not mistaken, or a little more than a year ago. And
Yeah,
yes, please go ahead.
yeah. Actually, we came here on December 2019 because my mom was civil activist and she always working for women rights. And then after she received some death threats and also some calling from Taliban side that they send us some letters which has a stamp and everything. So my mom decided to leave Afghanistan. Causing that letter, they treats my mom to they will kill my mom on her child. So my mom was not afraid of her life, but afraid of her children life. After that, we leave Afghanistan and we left Afghanistan and came here. So it was the reason that we came here. Before in Afghanistan, I used to be a top student in school, and also I was an MBBS student in Herat University. You know, all these are fun. Know that how much is tough that we success in Concord exam. So I passed Concord exam and I got 314 out of 360, and I success to enter the MBBS faculty. And then when these Taliban treat my mom, everything stopped, and we came here. Now after that, in 2020, we aware that Taliban killed my cousin, which who was a civil activist as well. I think that Miss Mahbouba will know my cousin. She is the Freshta Questani, which who was killed by Taliban. So her crime, I think, is that she always raised her voice for women, and also she always want to like she always say, if we raise our voice together, the international community will hear us. And I'm really optimistic to international community. That's why I start a petition in change.org, and now it has signed over 300,000 people, and I'm so hopeful that it will make us sense to all these superpowers and another who are now has power and they can help us.
Hmm. Right. Right. We have our viewers watching as well, and their questions coming in. One of the questions that they want to ask of the panel, and I'd open this out to everybody, anybody who wants to answer, is it's from Tool, and he's asking that please ask our guests as to what is the perception of the Taliban amongst common Afghanis. Do they support them because they follow a puritanical form of Islam, or is there resistance? Who'd like to answer that? Anyone, please? Ms.
Maybe
Miraj?
Mr. Habibi answer.
Yeah.
Mr. Habibi, answer that, please.
Can you please repeat the question?
Yes, the question is please ask our guests as to what's the perception of the Taliban amongst common Afghanis. Do they support them because they follow a puritanical form of Islam?
Sorry, the voice is
Okay, I put it on the screen as well,
Mhm.
if you all can read that.
I think Mrs. Seraj may tell
Mr. Raj, would you like to answer that?
view of
Yeah.
women. I will,
I
because
can answer it. I know he no, they were not
I
going
will,
to
I will
answer.
answer. I will answer after her.
Okay.
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 Thank you. That's okay.
Can I say?
Uh, I this is a tricky one, because by answering this question, which is a very legitimate question, really, but the answer of it is really pretty tricky, because you see, the whole idea is that it's not Islam. Islam, everybody in Afghanistan knows what is Islam. And everybody in Afghanistan knows who are the Taliban and what the Taliban are doing. Unless the Afghan Muslims, they want to fool themselves, then it's entirely different story. Then they don't know, about Islam. They don't know about anything, and then they'll follow whatever. But they don't. Taliban don't have a whole lot of followers, because of the very fact that even some of the guys, I do remember there was an interview on the streets of Kabul, and one woman asked a guy asked, sorry, a reporter asked a man about about the women and about what is good for everybody, and the man was saying, well, we are very happy, all of the men are very happy, we are happy here. And the man said, how about the women then? You think the women are happy? Don't you think the women should be around here also, and they should be going to the streets and everything? And the man started saying that no, they don't have to be here, and it's good, because now I don't have to look at their faces, because their faces was too much for me to look at. And I'm looking at this little guy, this little jerk. Sorry to say that.
I think you're right.
And I'm looking at him, and I'm saying, dear God Almighty, what this guy thinks he is, who this guy thinks he is. He's a nobody. He's a nothing. I mean, literally a nothing. Nothing. He has no education. He has. I don't know what he has. He's one of those thugs of Kabul City. Kabul City has a lot of thugs, as I've been saying. So he's one of the thugs. And the thug thinks that the streets of Kabul are very safe now because the women are not walking. I mean, really. And how were the women walking in the streets of Kabul before the Taliban came? They're walking exactly like the way they're walking now. They're walking with their chadars. They're walking with their face, with their heads covered. They're walking with the long coats, and they're walking all covered. What is the problem with this guy? So there are people like that in Afghanistan that I'm sure they will say Taliban are absolutely fantastic. But in general, people of Afghanistan know about the Islam, know about how to be a Muslim, and know about who the Taliban are. So that's my answer.
Oh, thank you for that. And Mr. Habibi, would you like to take that question, or should we move on from that?
I think Mr. Raj is here a little, but I think it's need a research. I don't think it be discussed
Okay.
in a few words here, but because it may be asked from the people that what they think, and I don't think I may present the people here, because I am not a presenter of the people, but if a research comes from I think our journalist or our interviewer went out, and you may judge the people from their interview.
Yes, absolutely. You're right. And there has been, the global media, whatever we're seeing, even on Indian television, there seems to be an effort, at least on the PR front from the Taliban. They have a spokesperson now who kind of mouths the, regular PR speak about women's rights and how that within the confines of Islamic law, women will be able to work and be, kind of provided education and things of that sort. I mean, there seems to be an attempt to present Taliban 2.0, if I may put it that way. Mr. Raj, how do you feel about that? How do you take them at their word? And the fact that they are getting seats on, global televisions, around the world?
Well, I hope they get all the seats on the global televisions around the world, and more if they need to. but the fact remains that we really have to see what they're going to be doing in action, in reality. So if they're talking about the human rights, and if they're talking about the woman and the woman's rights and all of that, and then you turn around at the universities and you don't see one girl studying there, because they're going to give you the reason that you have to have teachers that are going to be teaching to the boys separately and to the girls separately. And at the same time, you don't have that cadre at the university, to have all of those teachers, and you don't have it available. And they think that, a teacher at the university level, you can get it from the street, and you can just bring somebody to teach. Well, that's not the case. And then at the same time, there's going to be happening very soon when we will have, in the banks, we will have it in offices, we will have it in the medical field, we will have it everywhere, that there's going to be a lack of women working, nurses, teachers, and all of that. And women that they're actually, very technical, they've been trained to do technical work. Also men, for that matter. And then they're not going to be around. So because all of them, they have left, because of the reputation that the Talibs left after them, after the what they did in Afghanistan at the end of the 90s and up to 2001. So this is all is going to come to bite everybody. This is going to come and bite everyone big time, because that's what it will be needed. And then all of these young people, the two of them are right here, they're not going to come to Afghanistan, because Afghanistan cannot take these people. Why would she come to Afghanistan? And why would he come to Afghanistan? Why? So what is going to happen? There's going to be that void, that lack of all of these people. Then what's going to happen? Do you think Pakistanis are going to come and do the work? Maybe. Because that lack of personnel in this country is going to be for real. For real. This is not going to be something that you're making up. Very soon we are going to be facing that. We just need another 20,000 to leave. Then you'll see what happens, honestly. And the 20,000 will leave. So then it's going to be us stuck in this country, not knowing what to do with all our work, how to run our offices, how to make it happen. And then what are we going to say to the world? And the world that is watching right now and thinking that it's a circus. And that the circus really is going to be complete. And then what's going to happen? Then they're going to say, well, start making people, sending people, la, 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 la. And then who want to come and live in Afghanistan? Truly. Who want to come and work here from another country? Afghans are the only ones who can do that. So these are all of the things that will be happening. It's not because I'm a clairvoyant and I can see things in the future. It's because I have common sense. And the common sense tells me that's exactly what is going to be happening. Because it has happened other places in the world as well. So it's going to be happening here. So I just hope that they have the answer for it. I really do hope so. Because I don't want my country to be absolutely, stuck in the middle of nowhere and not knowing what they're going to be doing or how everything is going to run. I don't want that. I love this land. I love these people. I want them to be able. Do you know that we were going on a track so well? I cannot tell you. Today, our Salma Dam, the Salma Dam that was just opened, that was just inaugurated, is no longer our dam. The water has been left to go to Sistan in Iran. That is fine if Iran Sistan wants to take the water. We could have given them the water. But nobody gives water now for free. You know that. The world knows that. And Iran is very rich in oil. We don't have a drop of oil. Give us oil, we'll give you water. Nobody wants to hoard water. We don't want to hoard water. But for you to come, for Iran as a neighbor of ours, to come and do what they did in Afghanistan, to create the problems that they did in order to open the Salma Dam, now that is very wrong. So, so these are the things that as a woman that knows the world, have lived in the world, have seen everything, looks and studies and and I've taught, and I've, all of that. I can see all of this. I don't know how our young people can see it or not. I don't know if a lot of Afghans can see it or not. But these are the facts that are happening around us. And we are blind to it, and we don't know what is happening, and we think the world is fine. And it always reminds me of that bird that puts his head under the sand, and because he can see
The
things.
ostrich.
Yeah. So there. This is where we really are. And I'm asking the world, I'm asking, please make up your mind what you want to do with Afghanistan truly. Do you want to destroy it? Then just close the doors, take your soldiers out of the airport, and let us deal with this. Whichever way. If we die, if we don't die, if whatever happens. But as our neighbors, you cannot let us be there like that. Because you know the effect of it in your own countries. You'll be scared. How Iran could let us, just be like that, and all of us and close the doors? They won't. How Pakistan is going to do that? How China is going to do that? How the Uzbekistans and Tajikistans are going to? They won't. They won't. Because they know the danger of it. They know how dangerous it is. So if they've known how dangerous it is, they should have stopped this and not make it happen this way. They could have done it a different way, not this way. But
I agree.
but now everything is done. Now everything is finished. So now we are trying to fix it. Are we trying to fix what? The chaos? That's all we're doing. We're fixing the chaos. And everything else is forget it. We don't know. They've promised that they're going to open the banks. Now, tomorrow, today, the day after tomorrow. Everything, the country is absolutely standstill. Boom. Nothing. So,
Yes.
India should be thinking about it. You're not that far away from India. You're a big neighbor of ours. Really, you should be very concerned about this. Everybody should be very concerned about this. This is not something that is going to affect only little Afghanistan. It's not.
No, I think we are here in India. I mean, it was quite appalling personally for me to see some people actually come out in support of the Taliban, if you can call it that, and sort of try and gentrify and legitimize them as stakeholders, because not a single bullet was fired when they entered Kabul. So I kind of see this sort of unseemly support that is coming even in our country for them. I feel very apologetic and shocked about. I mean, I'm old enough to even remember Mullah Omar, and all that he stood for. But Adeeba, I think Ms. Seraj has brought in a very important point for young women like you, and of course Qurban as well. Do you see a future for yourselves in Afghanistan at the present time?
I never see my future in Afghanistan. I'm sure that's why now I am here. You see, now all university schools are closed. So how we see our future in Afghanistan? So when education is banned, when education is stopped, so how a country develop? So you see, and when a society never give value to woman, never respect of women, how this society develops. So I never see my future in Afghanistan, and that's why I start this petition, and that's why I want asylum for all women and children who are now in Afghanistan, who are now under the government of these animals and these people.
Right. Right, and I was reading in a newspaper, in a Western newspaper, I think it was The Guardian, where they had interviewed a young student, and it was heartbreaking because she said that the first thing that she thought of last Sunday when she was heading to college, and then she got to college and was told, leave right away, and she said that these degrees of mine, which I worked so hard to earn because I've studied at night and during the days, I'm going to have to bury them or burn them. And to me, there was something so tragic and heartbreaking about that. Adeeba, are you hearing things like that from your friends and people that you know there?
Yes, yes. Cause I was a MBBS student, so all of my classmates and all of my friends calling me, and they were crying and say, well, Adiba, what should we do? Now all university are closed, all everything is closed. Now our education is delayed. It was our it was so important times to to continue our education, but all these things is closed. Even we are without any without any education we are living now. And so these things I think make these people more disappointed. Than also this they always call me, they are crying. So last night also my close friends called me, they were crying. So I didn't say them anything hopeful, because I know there is nothing hopeful. If these Taliban continue their government, there is nothing hopeful that we have a hope that it will change or will it not. So if it is now normal, I think it's starting. Uh, it will be worse in future, because they will start their fight. They will show the real face of them, because now they wanna accepted by some government. So then when they accepted by this government, they will show their real face. They will start the 20 years before activity which they done. So I think I'm not hopeful. I just wanna from all government that please give asylum to these women and children to come out of to these people come out of Afghanistan and has a good future. Or also please don't accept these government of Taliban and never trust them.
Qurban, when you think of your future, in these present circumstances, what do you see ahead of you for the next couple of years? Uh, I know you haven't been home in 3 years, and you're very worried about your family as well. At this stage in your lives, I mean, I remember when I was back in the 20s. The world was full of possibilities, and there were so many things that one wanted to do and could do. What is it like for you right now?
uh, I'm thinking that suppose I cannot be under government of the or Emirates or Talibanis, because the thing is that two of my brother was honestly served in the country, and one of them was for 5 years and one of them for more than 7 years, but at the end he martyred. So the thing is that how can I pardon them because of they kill my brother? So we fight against this community. So I cannot pardon them. I cannot work with them. I cannot handle all this, because even sometimes I'm thinking, how can I go under to this country and work with these animals? And these are uneducated. They are claiming that they are they are accommodating the sharia in the country, but no, that is not in Islam. It claims that if you kill an innocent guy, it means you kill the entire humanity. So what does it mean? They are killing a one day baby in the hospital of Istiqlal. What does it mean? They killed thousand innocent civilian. I cannot. I can. You cannot imagine. No one can imagine. I've seen a one day baby. What is his sin? What is his sin? So, so the situation now is like on us is somehow unpredictable. Whether I cannot, if I go back to the country, I do I face a lot of problem, especially for my sisters or my niece. So there is lots of women, they want freedom, they want education, they want to serve the country, but they cannot serve to this country under the government of the Talibanis.
Hmm. Hmm.
We give we we did a lot. I'm thinking we were serving to the country, but the government was dishonest with us. They were deal with the Taliban and they passed the provinces. They passed but the thing is that when they are not supporting through the ammunition, so the thing is the commander okay, so give the provinces, give the cities. So they are saying the government, the previous government was saying that if you are resisting against the Taliban, we are not supporting ammunition, we are not supporting the air forces. So what do you think? The soldier will or the national army are not doing, not resisting. So they given the provinces they are without any resistance, without any shooting, they are giving and they are that's all. This is the
mm,
reality. Why everyone is silent? The,
mm,
the current government, the Ashraf Ghani was built they before that in last 6 months just they upon their own personnel. They changed the
mm,
governor, they changed this minister, they changed this minister. What does it mean? Now this is the result, this is the output. The people
mm,
are fleeing the country. This is the
mm,
a huge problem. Everyone is facing the problem. Everyone has economics problems. So the people are want to run because they don't want to stay in here and live there because we are not living, we are just surviving. This is the difference. Just
mm,
we want to
mm,
survive. This is in Afghanistan. If you go, just you want to survive. That's all.
mm,
I'm thinking.
mm.
No
Qurban, I'm
future.
glad. I appreciate that you brought up the condition of women. Possibly, I was again. There were reports of how one, on the spokesperson, so-called spokesperson of the Taliban, was on global media and giving interviews and said that women would be able to find employment. And then there was this another interview where the Taliban spokesperson spoke with a female anchor, and then again, the cheerleaders, yes, they do exist, went on to say that, oh, this is Taliban 2.0 and their stakeholders, etc., etc. They are from that country. And subsequently, one TV anchor who worked for the state media there was heading to office. And when she reached office, she was turned away from the door.
Yeah, yeah.
Very famous
I have seen
pop
that
star.
video. I
Yes,
have seen that video. She
yes.
was going to the office, but she was returning because they were whispering. Even they are not looking to the woman because they are thinking that she is not wearing a proper hijab, and they say that we are not able to talk, so you are not allowed to enter to the office. This is the reality that I have seen today. By today morning, I have seen that video. So this is the reality that. Uh, think about it. 12 years you are doing the schools, doing education, then you are going to the for bachelor, then you are going to the PG, then finally what is the output? It means doing nothing. So the society needs we need the women's the our society needs doctors, employee teachers, thousands of the teachers, so personals of women. So without women we cannot. I think that it is like the government cannot function well. So we need women, we need them. The government needs to support them. The government need to provide them a proper education, their higher education as their desire. They need to uh, work in anyhow.
Hmm.
You're not, the woman is not in a jail that they can say just after school just get married, that's all, this is your entire life. No.
Hmm. Mr. Habibi, the women seem to, I mean, we're of course watching from a distance, but when you see visuals of Kabul, for example, women are, you don't see them anymore like one did in the past. And like Ms. Seraj said, I mean, they would be covered or concealed. But the first thing that strikes one is women are disappearing.
Uh, when walking in streets, I see women, but they are covered more than they were previous. So
Right.
I don't. The offices are closed. The government administration is closed. The universities are closed. So I don't think the women are get out of home for work. So when we the all of the offices are resumed and reopened, so we may judge that the existence of women in public. So we may then tell about the women in our society. So now when I see the women are in hijab, full course up to their foods.
Right.
Previous there was in jeans, but now this is with Taliban they changed. In the same time, Taliban didn't announce anything about rules or regulations about hijabs, but people are afraid and they judge as there was the government of Taliban previously in 1996, so they think the Taliban are their Taliban. But up to now, we didn't see any Taliban resistance about the women's hijab and other thing. But when the government established, so we may then see their rules and regulations about the women's existence in public and society. And also, I heard that the universities, a union of universities, they went to the higher education ministry, and still there is a Taliban commission for that. So they sit there and they decided that women, the universities will be resumed near open in next days. But they tell the universities that please separate the boys and the girls in separate classes. So they told that we don't have such ability in universities and we don't have expertise in lecturers in this much that we must provide. They said what you did in 20 years that you didn't graduated this much women, that we may now have separate lecturers for girls and boys. So I think the woman, when up to now that all things and our regulations are uncertain, in the condition in the future is uncertain till the new government establishment. When the new government, or as they say, the inclusive government established, and we see their regulation and rules, then we can decide and we can say anything about their regulations. But in common, I'm positive about the current situation, and I think that they have meetings with all other
Stakeholders.
political parties and stakeholders that they are now meeting. So I think they may agree on inclusive government in the mix of Emirat and Republic. So I think if
So do you
we
think
if
the 2004 constitution, which is based on the 1964 one, do you think that's going to hold, or is that looking unlikely? Ms. Seraj, would you like to take that question?
Change. Um, I don't. Yeah, that is. There is no way that will hold. Quite a few things in it are going to change, and what will be happening, we don't know. But that is one of the things that the Taliban wanted to change from day one. So that will change. Quite a lot of things are going to change, according to what they said in the beginning. So they're going to be, they're going to be. The women participation is going to change. The universities are going to change. Although, if we could, which we cannot. That's because all of our possibilities. The Taliban, as I've been telling this to people, when they came the first time to Afghanistan, in the end of 90s, they didn't tell the girls not to go to school. That's not what it was. They told the girls that we're going to have cars for you, buses that will come and take you and bring you to school. And that never happened because they never had that possibility, economically to do that. That's what it is. It's not that they are going to be doing things like no, you're not going to be doing it, but they're going to be giving the kind of excuses. We don't want classes to be mix of male and female because But the whole problem that we have is because we don't have enough teachers, for example. And even right now for Afghanistan, it's been very hard to actually arrange a cadre for the university. It's not easy. They have to go through a whole lot of education in order for them to become teachers, and they can teach other people at a higher level of education. So these are going to be the problems, and then there's going to be a lot of problems. A lot of things are not going to get done because we won't even have the personnel that has the knowledge and know-how of how to do things, because people will be gone by then. And all of these are going to be creating these voids, these problems, these challenges. This is what it is. And my hope and prayer, which I don't think that will happen, because even the women of Afghanistan that they are here now, they don't get along with each other, and they really don't. So I was hoping that maybe we could have a way of talking to the head of the Taliban about this and getting some kind of an answer and telling them about the situation, how it is. And but apparently, no, this is not going to be happening, because again, it's going to be a faces of the women that have always been there before. They're going to be the ones that will be talking to Taliban, and most probably the Taliban will not listen to them because they are either they were in the government before or they are whatever. I don't know. Maybe they will listen to them either. But in any case, this is what I was hoping and I was wishing for. But maybe it won't happen. So I'm here. I'm going to do my job. I'm going to do what I'm standing here to do for the people, my people, for the Afghans, for the women and my sisters. And if one day I realize that whatever I'm doing, there are other forces that stops me on my way and doesn't let me go further, I'll get out. I don't have any problem getting out. I really don't. I will get out, but I don't want to. You see, that's the whole difference between me and a whole lot of other people.
Right.
I can get out. I won't. They want to get out. They can't.
Can't.
You see?
How safe do you feel, Ms. Seraj?
It's not a question of feeling safe or not. I don't even think about safety. Why should I think about safety? I never thought of safety before. Why should I think of safety now? Thinking about safety of making myself fearful is going to stop me from doing my job. So no, I'm not thinking about that. Really. What am I supposed to do? If they want to come and kill me, they can come and kill me anytime, anywhere. This is a fact, and everybody should know. So what am I supposed to do? I never had a whole lot of guards. I never had a whole lot of weapons. I never had anything like that, and I still don't, because I never believed in that. I never believed that can save me. I never believed that can save anybody. If education cannot, if knowledge cannot, if understanding cannot, if Islam in the right way cannot, these other things won't. Really. Force will not. Islamic takfiri will not. Because how many times you're going to hit somebody on the head to go to the mosque? They should go to the mosque. They should know it. That's the duty of every Muslim, to go 5 times to the mosque if they can. Why not? What's wrong with it? But for somebody to stand there and beat them to go to the mosque, now that's the kind of Islam I don't understand. How can you beat people to say this is wrong? This is not right. And this is what they're going to start doing. You can't beat people to do that. You can't beat people to do that. You can't. You just can't. You just the first thing they do, they take the gun and they want to beat you. No, don't beat me. Don't beating. No beating. Beating is not good. You have been beaten all of your life. Stop it. Learn something else. Learn love. Learn respect. Learn to listen. Learn to talk. Don't beat. Don't shoot. Because that will stop. That will shut the other person. That will shut the other person for good. Why?
True.
So that's where I am. I don't know what the rest of the people in Afghanistan are, but that's where I am.
In
mentally.
conclusion, I mean, what do you think India can do, should do at this point of time? I know the Americans have actually been a letdown the way they've kind of just left. The Pakistanis are playing a very dubious role as usual. China is involved. They laid
Yeah.
out the red carpet last month for a delegation
Yeah.
of libs. So
Yeah.
what do you think? I mean, what can the world do? What can India do? What can anyone do really at this
Well,
point?
yeah, India can be an amazing, go-betweener, between, trying to get the people to look at each other, sit down and have talks and discussions, and at the same time show their support, as for the good of Afghanistan, for the well-being of Afghanistan, because they also want to have Afghanistan as an independent, solid nation, country, to be there and to be standing on its feet. That's good for India. India knows that, and it's not like the other neighbor that doesn't know. India knows that. So yeah, they can play a big role in here. They can be the mediator. They can be the mediator with the rest of the countries in this area. They can be the mediator with the West. They can be the mediator with, they can really do a lot. They're a gigantic power. And the gigantic power, I haven't seen doing really as much as they could. I don't know what's happening there either. But that's India's policy. I can't really talk a whole lot about it because, they know their policy, whatever it is. But I can say as the neighbor that I was expecting a little bit more from you, India, honestly. I really was. In the same way that you sent that plane to take all of the Afghan Sikhs from Kabul, I appreciated they're not, safely. I want you to give Afghans visa if they want to do that, and I want you to give us also a plane so we can, if some of us want to go to India, to go there. Maybe some of us really don't want to go very, very far. Maybe I am one of those people that I would love to come to India. Maybe live there for a while because it's close to Afghanistan. I could hop in here and see what's going on. So prove that you can do that. Give our students, the visa to extend it so that they can stay. Right now it's dangerous for them.
Yes, I agree with that. Absolutely, yes.
Really,
don't started e-visas. There has been a portal that's set up, and I think.
Yeah, but that portal is not doing anything. If they have the e-visa and there is no plane to go, then it's the same thing.
Yeah.
But these things. So when there is one action taken, the other action should be taken right after it, because of the fact that shows the willingness. Otherwise, it's just a lip service. And enough of the lip service. We got that. We know that. We've been dying with lip service of the world. But if they really want to do something, they have to make a decision, show actions, and stand behind their actions. That's all.
Right.
It's really that simple. I the complication in all of this, I don't get. Maybe I don't know, something is wrong.
How do you, Ms. Seraj, how do you feel about countries like Doha? I read somewhere that they had turned away Afghan refugees.
The Doha? Why did they turn away the refugees?
I think I'll verify this, but there was something I read in a paper.
I thought they were the countries that they were just, I don't know why they turned away. They have enough money, they have enough everything. They could have kept some Afghan refugees.
The OSC also. I mean, the OSC has also been a little. Has been a little quiet. But yes, but I just want to really thank you for joining us this evening, and it's for your powerful interventions. We're still trying to figure a lot of things out. One of my viewers corrects me; it's Turkey, not Qatar, that has done that. So I just want to clarify that. I apologize for the mistake. I really do hope that there is some solution at some point, that the world community gets a lot more involved than it has been up until now, and I think that's required and it's necessary, and it's the moral thing to do more than anything else.
And also, my dear, I've made a promise to myself: if things go on the way it is and nobody is really listening to us, I will not be appearing on anything. I will not be talking about anything anymore. Because then I'm going to shut my mouth also, because there is no need, and if the world is not listening, why should I talk? why should anybody talk for that matter?
Yes.
So I'm like really, this makes me very sad, because at the same time I can share so much, and I can teach to the world so much. I can tell them what is going on, because I've seen so much and I've experienced so much. But if there is no interest and nobody's really doing anything, and they just want to listen to us because we talk like parrots, I don't want to be a parrot at all. No.
I in fact, I did a podcast the other day, and I made the point to the host of that podcast that if the world is ignoring what's happening, especially to the women in Afghanistan, then I don't think women anywhere in the world are safe. And he says, oh, what do you mean that there'll be this sort of caliphate? And I said, no, it's not that. It could be different things in different countries and different forms of oppression. It need not necessarily come in this version. But the fact that the world is not reacting to this, when the casualty, the most obvious casualty, are going to be women, is something that is shocking. So
very shocking. Yeah.
I want to thank you.
Thank you.
I would
for having me.
Not at all, my pleasure. And thank you, Qurban, and of course, Mr. Habibi. Please stay well. Please stay safe. We forget that there is a pandemic ongoing as well. So, please practice all the safety measures of the pandemic as well. And I will pray for you in Afghanistan, and of course, hope that as many people as possible do hear your voices and amplify your voices in whatever way that they can. Thank you so much.
Our pandemic in the current situation came, and we forget the Corona pandemic. So
I know we should.
The situation won't go worse than that. We forget this condition.
That's true.
Be well. Take good care of yourself. So you, Qurban Haidari. Be well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Afghanistan. The country is now under the control of the Taliban again after 20 years. Soon after American President Joe Biden announced the withdrawal of American troops from the region, it only took a week's time for the Taliban, a UN-designated radical terrorist organization, to capture Afghanistan provinces, barring a few. 15th August 2021, the day India was celebrating its 75th Independence Day, the Taliban captured the presidential palace in Kabul, and reportedly, ex-President Ashraf Ghani fled to the United Arab Emirates. After this began the atrocities that were all too familiar over residents of Afghanistan and other minorities, disrupting civil peace, torturing women, and restricting their freedoms. The disturbing images started emerging from the country, and as a result of this new takeover, similar restrictions were placed as were evident 20 years ago. Co-educational system was banned, radio stations turned into the voice of Sharia or strict Islamic laws. The women were once again forced to wear a full burqa and have been pulled out of the employment sector. Within just 5 days, the picture of the country has changed dramatically, and the deteriorating situation of the Afghan people is beyond imagination. Already the US decision of withdrawing troops from Afghanistan is being highly criticized by the world. NATO allies are also deeply anguished with some of the unilateral decisions taken by the Americans. The Afghan people feel that they have been forgotten. This Sunday Club, we discuss this issue with a special panel of Afghan voices to try and understand what we, the world that is silently watching, can do.